I'm just starting a few minutes early, so those of you who are earlier arrivals will see something. We're going to be getting started in about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes we'll be starting, so as you come in, if you can just type into the chat where you're calling in from and how you heard about this webinar. Maybe I'll play a little bit of music as we get going. We're going to get going in just a few minutes. I know there's a few more people that registered, so I'm just going to hold out a few more minutes to make sure everybody that is attending live will be here. So before we start, if you could just put in the chat where you're calling in from and how you heard about this webinar. Okay, I have 3 minutes after, and my motto is start on time, end early. So we're going to get going here. And as you come in, I will see you arrive. So I just want to make sure that you all have a piece of paper and pen because you're going to be writing some things down. And I also want to mention, depending on your internet connection, there could be a bit of a delay. So if there is a delay, just know you will be catching up soon. And I will be checking the comments periodically. I will be asking you to put things in the comments field and I will be checking them because I do know that the comments do have a delay. So you could type in a comment and it might not show up for me for a minute or so. So I will be periodically checking the comments. So you will also be tempted to multitask. And I ask you to silence your cell phone. If you're in a room, close the door and really pay attention to this and get the most out of this and give yourself the gift of presence, because the universe responds to where you put your attention. And if you put your attention on 20 different things, then you will get something divided by 20, and you want 100% attention to what you are doing, and you will get much, much more, exponentially more out of it. So you are in the right place. If you feel as though you have lost who you are, your job is unsatisfying, or you feel as though your talents are being wasted, and you feel disconnected, like something is missing. How many of you have felt this so far? Type in me in the chat if any of these apply to you. Or if you're feeling uninspired, unmotivated, or stuck in a rut, or if you just want to live vibrantly. Well, don't we all want to live vibrantly? So if any of these apply to you, type yes in the chat. So I am going to be going live in a second so that you can see me, and then I'll come back to the slides in a few minutes. So as I go back and forth from the slides to live, there could be a blank screen. So if you see a blank screen, that's fine. It's just me switching from the slides to going live. Attending. And I just wanted to be live with you for a minute so that you could see me live. I always love to go live for a few minutes, and it makes me feel as though I am more connected to you. Even though I can't see you, you can see me, and I still feel that connection. So I want to tell you a story before we get going. There was a mother mouse with her babies, and she was rummaging through the house looking for food for her babies. And she came around the corner and she saw a big cat. And the cat noticed her and started moving, creeping closer and closer and closer and closer. And the mother mouse stood up on her hind legs and just went, roof, roof, roof. And the cat got scared and ran away. And as the mother mouse started to calm down, she turned to her baby mice and she said, see, children, there is an advantage of knowing a second language. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the language of success, because there is a language of success. And once you know it, you can apply it to anything that you want to achieve results in, successful results. So I'm going to ask you a question now. Raise your hand if you have a goal that you would like to accomplish right now. And I know it seems weird for me to say raise your hand, but I want you to raise your hand anyway. Raise your hand and put yes in the chat. By raising your hand, you're sending a signal to the universe. I'm here, I'm participating, I'm fully present. So raise your hand and type yes in the chat if you have a goal that you would like to accomplish right now. Okay, in a few seconds, I'll be seeing those yeses coming in. And how many of you have ever achieved something and you didn't know how you were going to do it, and yet it was successful anyway? So you see, there is a capability in all of us to achieve something even when we didn't know how to get there. And that's another thing that we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to switch back over. Let me just check my notes. I'm going to switch back over to the slideshow. So this is going to go blank for a minute, and then we will have the slides back. And in a few seconds, I will see your yeses again. We want to say, raise your hand if you've ever accomplished anything and you didn't know how, and yet you did it in the end. Say yes and raise your hand. So I'm going to go back to the slides. So what I have learned during my many opportunities I've had speaking to different groups and organizations is that often our dreams and our goals are born out of the challenges that we're facing or the pain that we're currently experiencing. So how many of you have a challenge you're currently experiencing? Some area in your life that's causing you pain. Perhaps it's in your career, your relationships, or your health, or even the amount of money you have, or your lack of free time. So if one of these applies to you, just raise your hand and type yes in the chat. You see, the universe speaks to us through two growth signals, our longings and our discontent. It's the feeling of longing for something you haven't yet created and the feeling of discontent with your current circumstances that sparks us to growth. And our longings are what we want more of, and our discontent is what we want less of. Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith has a great quote where he says, to change our lives, we are often pushed by pain until we are pulled by a vision. These two energies, the pain of the problem and the burning desire of what you want, are essential to creating new results. So I'm going to share with you my story of how I was pushed by pain to make a change. It was a number of years ago, and my mother was dying of cancer, and I just ended a significant relationship. And I was feeling lost and heartbroken and a bit scared even. So how many of you have had these feelings of feeling lost, heartbroken, scared, maybe even frustrated? We've all been through that. So if you have, just raise your hand and type yes in the chat. So one of my core values is fun. So in this place of being lost and heartbroken, I decided to go out and have some fun. And I went to see a friend of mine who is a folk singer. And when I went there, the place she was singing had a bookstore. And I noticed that a lot of the books that I had read, they sold. And they weren't your average everyday books. So I figured that any place that would sell the books that I read would be a great place for me to be. So I started attending. It happened to be a church. It was Unity Church on Delaware in Buffalo, New York. And the first few weeks I cried because I felt such a sense of belonging and such a connection to the topics that were being discussed. And over the years, I started taking classes. And then I started teaching classes, and I really loved it when people got it. You know, when that light bulb goes off and people start seeing things differently and doing things differently. So I received a coaching certification, and that coaching certification was pretty Unity-centric. So that feeling of wanting to help people transform their lives just grew bigger as a result of that. So I went out and I found another coaching program which was more secular. So that was my second coaching certification. And that was a life mastery consultant. So I guess I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Lynn Tranchel. I am an award-winning life mastery consultant, AKA certified transformational life coach. And then I have also a third coaching certification, which I received a number of years after that. So through my coaching, I have personally applied this proven system to my life, and I'm now living my dream as a transformational life coach. I invest my time and energy in a career that I love. I have deep, meaningful relationships, and I cherish with all my heart. And my health is better than ever. I'm actually healthier now than I was 5 years ago. And I'm able to serve my clients that I love and help incredible people like you discover, design, and then live into their dream life. I absolutely love my life. And I would not be here today if it were not for this coaching program. So at the end, I am going to be offering something special for those of you who want to take this work and apply it to your life in a deeper way. And for anybody that's here at the end, I also have another gift, which is just for people that stay till the end. So a little bit later, I will be making an offer, and then I will have also another special gift. So the main program I coach is called Dream Builder. And there's 10 principles which will skyrocket your success if you apply them in your life. And today I'm grateful to be able to give you 3 of these principles that you can apply right now to help you create a life you absolutely love. So if you're in for the possibility of creating something more amazing in your life, touch your heart and put your hand on your heart and type "I'm in" into the chat. So here's my promise to you that I'm going to give you everything I can in just over 20 minutes or 60 minutes. And again, I am going to have a special gift for those of you who want to integrate this into your life. But now I want to talk about success. There are ways that we can be a success magnet. So I want you to just think about some successes that you've had in your life. It could be something as easy to you now as learning to ride a bike. Or it could be something that took a little more effort, like graduating from college, graduating from high school, some kind of certification for your career. So just write them down on your piece of paper. Remember, we need a piece of paper and a pen. Write down a list of 3 to 5 successes. So I'm just going to play a little bit of music while we do this. So again, we're going to write down 3 to 5 successes. Something that you accomplished. And as you do this, really get into that feeling tone of what it felt like to succeed. What did it feel like the first time you rode your bike with only 2 wheels? You took those training wheels off and went off on your own. What did it feel like to graduate, walk across the stage in your cap and gown? What did it feel like? Really get into that feeling tone of receiving your first paycheck. So write down 3 to 5 things and really get into the feeling tone of that success. And remember that feeling tone. Okay, once you have those written down, you can keep these at the ready. And anytime you're feeling like you need a little boost, you can get back to these feelings, get back to how it felt to succeed. And this could give you the extra boost that you need to move beyond what you're feeling right now. So use this as a way of being a success magnet. Whenever you're feeling like you're going into a meeting or you're going to be meeting somebody that you're going to need a little bit of extra oomph or mojo, whatever you want to call it, remember these successes, remember how they feel, and bring those into your consciousness and bring those feeling tone. Because the law, I'm not sure how many of you know about the law of attraction. You attract what you affirm. The law of vibration, that's actually the secondary law. The law of vibration is the primary law. So if you can get into that feeling tone of your successes, no matter what you're doing, everything will be much easier for you. So let's learn how to expand our awareness for success in the areas of your life that matter to you. There's 4 major areas of our life which we experience our results in, and that's our health and well-being, our love and relationships, our career or creative expression, or the amount of time and money freedom we have in our lives. And every one of these has results. Every one of us has results in these areas. And the results you're getting in your life in these areas are a perfect reflection of the awareness in these areas. So let's expand our awareness together by studying the pattern that creates our results, or what I call the results formula. And it begins like this. Your thoughts cause your feelings. And you know this. When you think joyful thoughts, you feel happy. And when you think scary thoughts, your heart beats faster. When you think about all the things left to do and how there's no time to do them, you feel stressed and overwhelmed. And when you think about what you've accomplished and what you're capable of, you feel more confident. So your thoughts affect your physiology. And by law, your feelings must be expressed into actions. Try this out. Put on a physical posture and facial expression of someone who's depressed. We all know how to do that. Our shoulders go down, our head goes down, our face is expressionless or frowning. Now shake that off. Put on the body position of someone who is confident, happy, and just had a major success. Look at one of your successes on your list. Your shoulders are back, your arms are up, you're smiling. So our feelings are expressed into actions. When we feel confident, when we feel energized, we take different action. And when we feel depressed or frustrated or sad. And it's our actions that create our results. So your thoughts cause your feelings cause your actions cause your results, and your results create new thoughts. So it turns into this cycle. And if you can change your thoughts, you can change this whole cycle. So this is the law of cause and effect. Yet most people don't get this. Most people look at their results. They look at their circumstances, their conditions, and they call those their causes. Actually, they're too smart to call them their causes. They actually call them their becauses. I can't start a new career because I'm too old, or because I lose all of my benefits. I can't take time off because I don't have the money, or because I don't have the vacation time and my boss won't let me. I can't find the love of my life because I'm not young enough, thin enough, attractive enough. I can't because. When the true causes of all of our results is right here, and I'm pointing at my head right now, our thoughts. Your results are caused by what you have been thinking. This is our first cause. So if you want to know what you've been thinking, look at results, because your results never lie. If we want to create new results on our life, then we must begin by looking at our thinking, where our thinking comes from, and how our minds create our thoughts. So if you change your results, you change your thoughts, you'll change your feelings. This will create different action, different results, better results, which will create different thoughts, and your life will take on a whole new direction. So I'm honored to speak at many groups and organizations and at live events, and often after the presentation, someone will come to the back of the room and find me and say that they have another organization or group and ask if they can hire me to come to that group and present, which I'm always happy to do. And whenever I go to a group or organization, one of the exercises I love to do is this one. So pay attention here. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to look around the room and see everything that you can that is blue in color. Try to remember everything that is blue. Go. Look around. Look for blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Count the blue. Now stop and close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, bring to your mind all the red items that you saw. So raise your hand and type in blue if you saw more blue than red. Everybody does. Now open your eyes. Actually, you have to open your eyes to type in. So now that your eyes are open, look around the room and see how many red items are in the room. So do you see more red than blue now that you're concentrating more on the red? So type in the chat red now. So there's lots of people that are typing in blue. In just a minute, there's going to be lots of people typing in red. So why is this? There is an area of our brain called the reticular activating system, whose job it is to mediate our overall level of consciousness and awareness. In other words, the reticular activating system's job is to bring into our awareness what it is that we're looking for and filter out of our awareness what we're not looking for. So we're, excuse me, what we're paying attention to, we will see. Seek and ye shall find. Most of us were taught to focus our thoughts on what's reasonable, what's safe, why we can't, what's missing, what problems we're facing. So if we look at this slide, at any given moment, we're being bombarded by 4 billion bits of information, and yet we can only recognize 2,000 bits. So think about that, 400 billion bits of information, and we can only recognize 2,000. So if we want to change our results, we must change our focus. Sorry about that, hit the wrong button there. So, so if we change where we focus, we will see different things. And it was Henry Ford who said, obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off of your goal. So if we see here, if we've changed our focus onto a different 2,000 bits, we will see something completely different. For example, every time I go to buy a new car, once I make a decision on what kind of car I want to purchase, it's like overnight, hundreds of those cars are on the road. And it's really not that everybody knew that I wanted to buy that car and went running out and purchased the same car. It's just that that's what I was focused on, because I was focused on, in this case, it was a Ford Focus, the last car I bought. Because I was focused on that make and model of car, I saw it more. So you can see this really happens in every area of our life. What we focus on, we see. So highly successful people begin with the end in mind. They know their outcome. They become clear on what they really want. Because where your attention goes, energy flows. And you begin to see resources and opportunities that other people miss. This brings us to the first secret of dream building, which is designing a dream. So what do you want? What would you love for your life? Are you going to create out of design, what would I love, or by default? Let's just see what happens. So write down on your piece of paper at the top right now, clarity is power. Without a clearly defined blueprint, you cannot build your dream. Just like you must have a clearly defined blueprint to build a house, the same is true for your dream. You would never go to an architect and say, build me a happy house. Your architect would not know what to do with that. When we become clear on what it is we really want in life, we begin to see opportunities, circumstances, resources that you would have otherwise missed. That's shifting your focus to that 2000 bits that's really important. So let's design the blueprint of your dream, and let's make it clear, crystal clear. So consider the 4 domains of your life: your health and well-being, your love and relationships, your vocation or creative expression, and the amount of time, money, freedom you would love. And for today, we're just going to pick one of these areas. So I invite you to choose one area that you would love to improve the most. And if you have trouble narrowing it down, you can apply this exercise to all areas later. So for now, just pick one domain that you'd love to receive results in. So I invite you to give yourself permission to imagine like you did when you were a kid, where nothing was impossible, no dream was too big. When you were little, you had a rich imagination. You put on possible futures when you were 3 or 4 years old. You imagined being a fireman, an astronaut, a ballerina, or even a doctor, or anything you wanted. So I challenge you to dream big. And we're going to unlock our imagination with this simple question: what would I love? So ask yourself, what would I love? You receive different answers inside of yourself when you ask, what would I love, compared to what do I think I can do? What does the economy say I can do? What does my current situation say I can do? What do other people think I should do? Howard Thurman, Dr. Martin Luther King's mentor, said, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. And do that, because the world needs more people who come alive. So for a moment, ask yourself this question and really lean into this question. What would I love in this area of my life? And I'm going to take you into a process called the time machine. Right now, imagine you're getting into a time machine and traveling 3 years into the future. And 3 years from now, everything has worked out. Now take a paper and pen and write at the top, I am so happy and grateful now that. And you want to make sure you write this at the top of the page. And in a moment, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write down what you would love in this area of your life. So I want you to suspend any urge to figure out how this result is going to happen right now. This is simply what you would love, as if somebody gave you a magic wand and could create exactly what you wanted. So dream big. I'll turn on a little music as we do this. Now I invite you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you want, and imagine it's 3 years from now. All of the challenges are solved. Consider what you would love in your life. What's happening in this area of your life that you selected? If you could wave a magic wand, what great things are occurring to you? If you couldn't fail, what would you love to be doing? What experiences are you having? Who are you with? See it. How does it feel? Feel it. Really feel it. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write down everything that comes to you. Again, get into that vibration. Vibration is the primary law. What does it look like, feel like? And write it down. You have 2 minutes. You want to paint a beautiful picture of the life you're imagining. Again, use your imagination as if you were 3 or 4. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, how was that experience? Now I want you to put your pens down, and this is the beginning of designing a life you would love. I know you might not know how this dream is going to happen, and that's okay. Great dream builders are willing to suspend the need to know how at the beginning, so don't worry, we're going to get there. Now that we've had a start of a clearly defined dream, let's move into principle number 2. Best-selling author and renowned life coach Bob Proctor says there is a simple mental move you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter, and it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. You have a name for this magic mental activity, and this is called decision. And Dream Builder principle number 2 is deciding for your dream. You must make a firm decision for what it is you want before you bring that dream into reality. Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, after studying 25,000 men and women, concluded that highly successful people form the habit of making decisions quickly and changing them seldom, if ever, while unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them frequently. It's the decisions that we're willing to make that shape our lives. So I have another story for you. A man goes into a bank to cash a check. And he says to the teller, "Can you cash this check for me?" And the teller says, "Sure. Just sign your name to it, turn it over, sign your name to it, give me the check, and I will give you your money." And the gentleman says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. You want me to sign the check and then give it to you?" And the bank teller said, "Yep, that's bank policy. Just sign the check, give it to me, and I'll give you your money." And he said, "What if I sign the check and give it to you and you don't give me my money?" And the teller said, "Well, you can trust me. This is my job. This is bank policy. Sign the check. I will give you the money." And they argued back and forth a few times. And the teller finally said, "I can't help you. If you want to go down the street and see if they'll cash your check without signing it, feel free." So he goes to the second bank, same thing. Third bank, same thing. He's at the fourth bank, going back and forth, bantering with the teller. And the teller finally reaches under the counter and pulls out a Nerf bat and bops him in the head and says, "Sign the check." And he signs the check, hands it over, and gets his money. And he goes back to the first bank and says to the teller, "See, down the street, they gave me my money." And the teller said, "Yeah, but I bet even down the street you had to sign the check, right?" And he said, "Yeah, but they explained it a little different than you did." And I really love this story because I believe that on many levels, it's my story and it's your story. That we go to the teller of life, we go to our imagination, we go to our dream or our goal for our business, and we say, "I really want this business to be like this. I want my income to be like this. I want my relationships to be like this. I want my health to be like this," and we describe it. And then life says to you, "Great. Well, then go ahead and sign your name to it first. and you become the thing you want, and I'll cash the check for you. And we back up and we say, no, 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 give me my resources first. In other words, when the economy is good, when I have enough business, when I have the money, when I have the time, when I have the relationship, when I've got the confidence, when things change around me first, then I'll sign my name to it. Then I'll commit to the thing that I want. So we must be willing to sign our name to the thing we want and take action in the absence of knowing all the steps if we want to have our dream. No new process can begin and no new path can be forged until a decision has been made. But once you make a firm decision, even in the absence of perfect conditions, a whole manner of things begin to occur and rush to your aid for the fulfillment of that decision. So what I want you to do is write down, take that piece of paper where you have that area of your life that you have come up with what you would love in those areas. And at the bottom, I want you to say this or something. Well, leave a lot of space so you can fill in more as you go along. And at the bottom of the page, write this or something even better still. And this holds your dream in an open hand for possibilities that you might not otherwise see. So if we say, this is what I want, you sort of stop the creative process and you stop the infinite possibilities from happening. So you say this or something even better still to hold it into the possibilities that something could happen even better than you had imagined. So write down at the bottom of the page, this or something even better still, and then write your name, sign it, and date it so you know when this whole process started. So I want to tell you now a story about one of my clients. When Amy started Dream Builder process, she said that she lacked direction. She felt as though she didn't have a purpose, and that caused her to feel a little bit depressed at times. And yet she went through the process. She showed up every week and she did the work. She took the steps to find her dream and kept moving forward and taking action. And when she got stuck, I would ask her, what could you do? And she's decided to stay in that question of what can I do? And now remember, the quality of your life is framed by the quality of the questions you ask. You need to be willing to ask. Most of us learn to ask weak questions of the universe, like, what do I think I can do? What does my bank account say I can do? What does my current job say I can do? So she was leaning into bigger questions here, like, so if I didn't believe it was impossible, what would I do? Her old mindset was telling her it was impossible. As long as she agreed with that old mindset, then that becomes the limit of her possibility. The truth is, we live in an abundant universe that is infinite in scope and has unlimited ideas of any size dream you want. So perhaps right now, in reference to your dream, there may be a thought that's limiting you. Those limiting thoughts are actually constricting the flow of solutions and possibilities. And you must connect with a part of you that is open to possibilities in order to attract the ideas and bring them into the fulfillment of your dream. So that's why we always ask, what would I love? So encouraged by me, Amy kept saying, so if I didn't believe it was impossible, what could I do? And she kept taking those steps. She kept taking those steps. And I always do a review about 10 weeks in. And at the 10-week mark, I said to her, well, back in the beginning, this is how you felt. How are you feeling now? And her response was, I'm Amy. And I really love that story. So the story, and her story really doesn't end there. She experienced herself as a much bigger person, much more capable, much more creative, and that's what happens with dream building. Now, if she had stayed caught in the idea that there was no way she could have this dream, then that would have been exactly what would have happened to her. But with my help as her coach, she accessed a different level of thinking. She created a clear blueprint for her dream, and she made a decision to act in the face of challenging conditions. She put herself on a different frequency, and on that frequency, there was way more abundance, way more creativity, way more time, and way more fun. And Amy was clear on what she wanted. She made a powerful decision and took action in the face of some real circumstances. If you want to cash a check, you need to fill out the amount and you need to put your name on that check. In terms of your dream, that means you have to be specific and clear about what you want. Then putting your name on the check means that you make a decision for your dream by saying, yes, this is the life I would love today. Yes, today is my day. And if you agree that you are willing to sign your name on that check, type in the chat, yes, this is my day. So now we're going to move on to Dream Builder principle number 3, which is befriending our fear. And Napoleon Hill says the value of your decision depends upon the courage you have to make them. Great dream building requires the ability to suspend knowing how and take action in the absence of all the answers. When you decide for a dream, there's a part of you that says yes. And there's another part of you that rises up and says, right now, that's not going to happen. Or that voice may say, well, how are you going to do that? You've never done that before. Or who do you think you are? You just don't have what it takes. So we want to raise your hand and type in me in the chat if you've ever heard from that part of you. For many of us, this voice has already spoken during this presentation. Probably for some of you, as soon as you started asking the question, what would I love? This voice spoke up. So if you have ever heard this voice of doubt, raise your hand and type me into the chat box. So what is this voice? That's the voice of fear. It's the part of you that wants things to stay status quo. It's our paradigm. And often fear will disguise itself as practicality. Fear won't say, I'm here to kill your dreams. It's too smart for that. It'll say, I'm here to keep you safe. I'm here to make sure you never have to experience that level of pain again. I'm here to make sure your kids are taken care of. I'm here to make sure you don't get embarrassed. It's the voice that says, now is not a good time. Wait until later. It's the voice that says, you don't have the money for that. That's irresponsible. It's the voice that says, you don't have the experience or the credentials. Who are you to have this dream? We want to remember that our ego would rather have us be miserable than to change. And it's the part of you that says, what if you fail? Okay, so what if you fail? How many of you have had a failure in your life? Raise your hand and type in, yes, if you have. We all have. When we were babies, we all started out as non-walkers. And as a non-walker, we saw people around us walking on their hind legs, and you wanted to have that level of freedom for yourself. You wanted to be upright and not floor bound. So you rose up, locked your eyes on that cookie you wanted or that toy you wanted, and you gave your best shot at taking that step. And what happened? You fell down. But what did you do next? You rose up again, tried the next step, and you fell down. And when you were learning to walk, not once did you ever fall down and say to yourself, well, that's it. I guess I'm just not meant to be a walker. And you may think that is funny. On the other hand, we do that with other things. No, you rose up and you kept going. And with every try, you took a few more steps and a few more steps until finally you became a walker. And something happens when we become adults. We stop giving ourselves permission to fall down. If you fall down in business, you say, I guess I'm not meant to be a business owner. If you fall down in love, we say, I guess love isn't in the cards for me. And when it's falling down and rising up, that we actually is the key to achieving our dreams. We must befriend our fear, and give ourselves permission to fall down to succeed. Great dream builders do this. They fail and they try again. Oprah was fired by television executives, told that she was not fit for TV, but she rose up and kept going. Steven Spielberg was rejected from USC film school 3 times, but he rose up and kept going. J.K. Rowling was unemployed, divorced, raising a daughter, and her first novel, Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishing companies, but she rose up and kept going. Bruce Springsteen was fired from his first band and told by his manager that he couldn't sing, but he rose up and kept going. Martin Luther King thought it wasn't a convenient time and wasn't sure that he was the right person for this, yet he rose up and kept going. Henry Ford was a failure in 3 businesses before starting the Ford Motor Company at the age of 53. And he was a success because he rose up and kept going. So what about you? Are you willing to rise up and keep going? Fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great dreams. So when that voice of doubt questions you and asks, what if you fail? Let the response be, bring it on. I might fail, but if I do, I will rise up and keep going, and I will succeed. So how do you give power to that part of you that wants to move forward? When you're hearing that voice that says to stop and wants to keep us small. There's a whole process to this that I take my clients through in Dream Builder. And for the purpose of today, I'm just going to give you one thing to do. Oh, I forgot, you are a dream builder. So what we're going to do is remember where your attention goes, energy flows. So when you notice your thoughts going forward towards limitation, interrupt that thought and refocus your mind on your dream and take an action step. The action is key because it tells your subconscious mind that you are serious about your result. And over time, the old paradigm will actually begin to dissolve away. And it's taking action that is like the ground wire to electricity. You need a ground wire for electricity to work, and taking action is the ground wire for reframing your paradigm. So they ask the question, what's one action I can take that would move me in the direction of my dream, and then take that action. So take a moment, take a look at what you've written down as your dream. What is one step that you could take? So, and let's do that. We're gonna, don't let yourself off the hook here, because this is where our paradigms keep us stuck the most. There is absolutely one thing that you could take, one step you could take moving forward in the direction of your dream right now. So we're going to play a little music. I'm going to give you a minute to do this. So think, what's one step that I can take? And make sure you write down at least one step and write a by when. And when you write down that by when, make sure it is reasonable. And then put it in your calendar and actually do it by that date. So look at what you've written down right now and write down some steps that you can take. What step can you take? Okay, so I hope you all have at least one thing written down there. And really, this is crucial to creating the life you would love. And remember, progress is more important than perfection. So take even the smallest step toward your dream will make a difference. And the key is to do what you want with what you have from where you are. The choices and actions we take today are ultimately who we become tomorrow. So let me ask you this. Do you feel as though you've connected with these ideas and you know that if you really implemented these, they would make a difference in your life? If you did, then raise your hand and type yes. Okay, so I promised you a gift. But before that, I'm going to review what we've been through so far. So you learned through the success list that past successes can help you keep going in the face of uncertainty, and that there's an invisible pattern of success. And when you expand your awareness of that pattern, the results naturally increase. And we learned principle number 1, designing your dream. You must have a blueprint for what you want in order to achieve it. And the clearer your blueprint, the more power you have. And then principle number 2 was the power of decision. You must decide for the thing you want in the absence of knowing how. And principle number 3 is befriending your fear, and how fear and failure are prerequisites for greatness. And you must befriend your fear and shift your paradigms if you're going to achieve your dreams. So I'm going to close with a story, but first I am going to talk about, I promised that I would have an offer for those of you who are interested in taking this work a little bit further. So I am offering you a Vibrant Living assessment. And between my speaking and coaching schedule, I carve out time each week. And this is a 30 to 45 minute phone conversation with me where we get clear on exactly what you want, what you would love to create, and the next most important step to get you there. It's a one-on-one session that is valued at $250. And some of you know that you're ready to invest in achieving your dream. So for you, here's your next step. Some one-on-one time with me over the phone where we invest in your dream and discover a path for how you can get there. And I'm offering you this completely complimentary. This is my gift for you. So how many of you are serious about achieving your dream? And how many of you would like a Vibrant Living assessment? So if you are, just click on that Register Now button, and that will take you to my calendar. And I have 10 sessions reserved for you. And when you click on this button and see the calendar, it may look like there's more time available than there is on each day because it's on half-hour chunks. So clicking on one of those will take away 2 time slots. So it may look like there's a lot of time, there's really not. So click on the button if you're interested in some one-on-one time with me, and you will be added to my calendar. And in closing, I have a story for you, a true story about William H. Murray. William H. Murray is known as one of the top 5 mountain climbers of all times, and he's famous for discovering the southern route to Mount Everest, which made summiting Mount Everest possible. When Edmund Hillary, the first man to ever summit Everest, wanted to put together a team to summit Everest, he went looking for William H. Murray. Nobody had summited Everest at that time, and Hillary said to Murray, "We want you on our team." Each person has to either have the money or raise the money for the mountain climbing expedition. William Murray thought, "I would love to go on this expedition." However, in his writing about it, he said, "I asked how much it was." When confronted with the price, he said there's no way he could come up with the money, and disheartenedly declined from going, and they went without him. So Hillary's team had a great expedition. They didn't summit Everest, and a couple years later, Hillary was putting together another expedition, sought out Murray and asked, "We want you on this team. Come with us this time." And Murray said, "I did exactly the same thing. I said, 'How much is it?' And when confronted with the price, I said, 'I can't do it.'" After a number, again, the number was more than he believed possible for himself. He declined based on conditions. He declined, they go. They go further up the mountain and they learn more, but they still don't summit Everest. A couple of years later, Hillary comes to him again and says, "Listen, we're going one more time. I think we're going to summit this time because last time when I got off Everest, I looked at her and said, 'I will climb you because you're not getting any bigger and I am.'" When William Murray wrote about this in his book called Evidence of Things Not Seen, he said it took all the courage he had. It took every stretch that he could muster, but it caused him to ask a different question. Instead of asking, "How much is it?" this time he asked, "How much is the deposit?" And William H. Murray wrote, "When I was told the down payment amount, I knew I could get that amount of money, but I had no idea how to come up with the rest. The down payment wouldn't get him all the way to Everest, but he said, okay, and put down the down payment anyway." He said later in his writings about this moment, "Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Absence of evidence is simply absence of awareness." You have a Mount Everest level dream, and perhaps there's a clear path. There's not a clear path at this point, but that doesn't mean a path doesn't exist for you. It just means that you're not aware enough to be able to see the things you can do to generate the results you want. And in fact, if you know how to get to your dream, it's not big enough, make it bigger. In Murray's book, there's a very famous quote by him where he describes what happened for him. He says, "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness, concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and suspends plans, namely that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves to. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issue from that decision, raising in one's favor all manners of unseen incidents and meanings and material assistance, which no one could have dreamt would have come their way. I learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. You have a splendid dream. You've written it down. You can feel it. You made a decision for it. And to achieve your dream, you must decide for it over and over again. You must decide for it over opposing circumstances. You must decide for it when it's inconvenient. You must decide for it when it's uncomfortable and you don't feel like it. Because there's one elementary truth. You must commit to your dream and befriend the fear. Because when you do, a whole stream of events issue from that decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which you could not have dreamt would have come your way. So for those of you who are willing to commit to your dream, and those of you who would love support in achieving your dream, if you would love to have a coach to help you to the summit, then click on that button. So I can see who is still here. And anyone that is still here, I will send you an email with a link to receive 3 free Mind PT sessions. Mind PT is my 3rd coaching certification, and it's a pre-made mind movie that combines pictures, affirmations, and music. And watching it for 3 minutes can change your mindset for up to 6 to 8 hours. So anyone that is still here live, I can see you and I will send you an email. If you are on the replay and you are still here, just type in the chat box, I'm still here, and I will get an email and send you a link to the Mind PT session. So remember, as we leave this webinar and go out into our lives, know that what is inside of you is far greater than any challenge you're facing. You have incredible power within you. This is your moment. This is your day to take bold action. Because as Goethe says, whatever you can do or think you can do, boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And it's been my privilege to spend some time with you. And I want to thank you for being here, whether you're live or on the replay. And this is a friend of mine, my friend Irene Boggs. And she has an amazing album called Firmajams. So just remember, I believe in you. I believe in your dream. So thank you for attending, whether it's live or, I guess we can't say Memorex because it's not really Memorex. If it's live or different electronic, if it's live or the replay, thank you for being here. I'm just going to hold this slide up for a few more minutes. I'll play a little bit of music. For those of you who want to sign up for a Vibrant Living Assessment, just click on that button. Thank you for attending. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you again for attending.